You have come here to cause expansion of the universe. You can't help that, but your purpose, the reason you've come, is for the joy of the expansion, because it's expanding whether you're up to speed with it or not. You're sifting through the contrast and you're putting things in your vortex, and the vortex is causing an expansion of this universe. You just have a choice of keeping up with it or not. And the more you keep up with it, the better you feel. And the less you keep up with it, the worse you feel. So now you know everything that we know that is important. And now it's just about practicing. So be gone. No. We're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. Nothing is off limits. You will notice a perfect unfolding. If you heard what we said, then you understand that this gathering actually happened vibrationally before you dragged your physical bodies here. So there's a very clear vortexual version of what's coming next. So it's going to be great fun together to watch this grid fill in. So when you think about it, you get it that conceptually it is possible that there is a vibrational version of all things you want lurking in the wings, waiting for you to achieve vibrational alignment with it. Does that make sense to you? And when you establish a vibrational frequency that matches it, the grid begins to fill in. The first thing that happens is you feel an emotion. Now that's really an important thing to understand. The emotion that you feel is the first phase of that grid filling in. You get to feel it. The next thing that happens is you begin getting thoughts. Thoughts begin to flow into your mind. Ideas that feel exciting when you feel them. Impulses begin to come. I think I'll go there. I didn't plan it. I didn't plan to stop off there to meet the love of my life because I had no idea that he was there. The vortex knew. Source energy knew. My inner being knew. Everyone who is aware of vibration knew. But I didn't know. Because I've been beating the drum of loneliness, so I didn't know. But I focused upon something other than that subject that makes me feel lonely and drags me away from my vortex and holds me in vibrational alignment with something other than what I really want. I was focusing upon those unwanted things until I began focusing upon something that was easy to feel good about, something completely unrelated to anything that's really important to me. I wasn't worried about money. I wasn't worried about my lover coming. I wasn't worried about the economy. I wasn't worried about politics. I wasn't worried about anything. I was just focused upon something that sort of blissed me out in the moment, some really general, central to who I really am thought, got myself feeling really good, and then I got an impulse. Think I'll stop by here. Don't know why, just got the impulse. The grid is filling in, you see. The grid is filling in. You know how you don't want to eat all the food that you will eat for the rest of this physical life today? You want some of it, but not all of it. Well, you don't want everything that's in your vortex to fill in today either. You just want the perfect pieces at the perfect time. You just want, through the path of least resistance, the pieces of it. You want it to come in a steady stream. You want it to come effortlessly. You want it to come willingly. You want it to come consistently. But most of all, and this is our favorite part of a gathering like this, you want to be consciously aware that you have established a vibrational pattern that is allowing it to flow in. So we just want to say to you, we're going to be saying it a lot, that whatever you're focused upon has you establishing a grid. And the longer you focus upon it, the more established that grid becomes. So you could have, for example, a grid that you come easily to relative to finances. In other words, every subject is two subjects, what is wanted and absence of what is wanted. And sometimes you think that you're focused completely upon the financial well-being that you want. But when you're noticing what you can't do with the money you don't have, that's not the end of the stick that you're focused upon. So without even meaning to, you're establishing a grid, a vibrational basis that says, I don't have enough money. In fact, I hardly know anybody who has enough money. In fact, there's a big injustice in this world today about not enough money. And you get a grid like that going, and law of attraction will bring you evidence of that until you'll say, well, it's true. I wouldn't be saying it if it were not true. And we say, It is your attention to it that makes it true for you, you see. And that's a hard thing because you're running around, you're in individual bodies, you're sitting on individual clumps, on individual chairs, and you don't realize how interconnected you are with one another. But when you give your attention to what masses are doing, when you give your attention to what a political party is doing or what a religion is doing, when you give your attention to anything, in doing so, you establish a vibrational pattern which becomes your point of attraction. And all of that is a wonderful thing. It's part of why you came into this time-space reality. You want to take thought beyond that which it has been before, and you want to be joyful in the process of it. But so many of our human friends have forgotten, it seems, that there is a standard within them that will help them to know. It is a guidance system that is unequivocally accurate at all times. There's a guidance system within you that will help you to know in any moment of any day, whenever you are focused upon anything, how that focus, how that attention, how that perspective, how that opinion, how that belief meshes with the whole of who you are and what you really want. And you can tell by the way you feel. Once you get the hang of this, you're going to start caring about how you feel. You're going to begin to care about how you feel enough that you're going to be able to let how you feel guide you incrementally to more habits of thought which establish more grids that are more in alignment with who you are. One of the things that our physical friends most often misunderstand is that you are the leading edge of all that we are. You are the leading edge out here exploring pioneers, exploring variety, and coming to powerful, important new conclusions. But what goes wrong for you from your perspective is that often life causes you to know that you want something. You want more love in the world. You want more well-being. You want all of the children to be eating. You want the world to be a better feeling place for not just you, but more people. You want that. But you focus upon the opposite of that. It's like the contrast helps you to expand, but you don't go with the expansion because you feel obligated to tell it like it is, to focus upon the what is, to be real, to be accurate, to tell the truth of things. And we want you to understand that there is a truth that you can reach for that is always wrapped around well-being, that when you begin reaching for that, the universe will reflect back to you. Our new way of saying it is your grid will fill in with the evidence of whatever truth it is that you've decided to make your pattern of thought, your habit of thought. So what so many of our human friends do not understand is that you're out here on the leading edge and you're carving it out and you're asking for the new expansion. And when you do, we all go right to it. We experience the ecstasy of the new creation that you have carved out. And then, and this is the most important part for you, we hold steady to that vibration of that expansion, offering a signal that is so strong and so steady that when you get somewhere in the vicinity of it, you're going to feel your relationship with it. You're going to feel your relationship with that signal. If you feel awful, you understand your relationship with the signal. It's beaming one vibration, you're beaming another. It's pure positive energy, you're not. So we want you to focus today, if you want to, on the concept that you are walking around all day, every day, establishing a foundation or a point of attraction, a sort of grid that will fill in, the grid, a grid. So as we're talking to you today about this point of attraction, we're going to be asking you, what are you doing with your grid? What kind of a grid have you got going on? And we want you to come to recognize that when your grid is a vibrational match to the grid of who you are. Now, what do we mean by that? The source within you. Oh, you were born into this physical time-space reality with this powerful point of attraction. You are pure positive energy. You knew your value. You know your worthiness from that perspective. You knew the reason that you were coming into this experience. You were solid and steady and sure. You knew love. You were love. You are love. You loved. In other words, just such a solid, steady grid. Nothing had diverted you from it. You hadn't seen some injustice in the world, or no one had wronged you. No one had made you feel uncomfortable. You had not yet given your attention to those things that would cause you to offer a vibration that could cause some separation. So over the years that we've been playing with you, we've offered many analogies to help you understand that you are more than you see here in these physical bodies. We tell you that you are the creator of your own reality. Seth coined those phrases years ago. Do you get that? You are the creator of your own reality because you are the perceiver of your own experience. Therefore, you are the offer of your own vibration. Therefore, you are the creator of your own point of attraction. Therefore, law of attraction is answering every vibration that you're offering. Therefore, you get what you think about whether you want it or not. How about that? Well, that sounds easy enough, doesn't it? I get what I think about. I get what I think about. Ooh, look over there. That's not too good. Oh, don't want to think about that. Cancel, cancel. You say, don't want law of attraction to get hold of that one. But as you give your attention to whatever you give your attention to, don't worry about it. You're getting guidance that lets you know right here, right now, whether you're in alignment with who you really are and all that you want. There are 3 steps to the creative process. The first step is you have to ask. And the contrast that surrounds you causes you to do that all day, every day. You're launching those rockets of request, those rockets of desire all day, every day. The second step is source answers what you ask. We wrote a book a few years ago, best title ever, Ask and It Is Given. And that's what it's talking about. When you ask, the vibrational equivalent of what you've asked for forms. And you say, well, whoop-de-doo. There's a virtual bank account out there somewhere for me. And a virtual lover. Not that satisfying. But that's where step 3 comes in. Step 3 is you must be a vibrational match to what you've asked for. And you can't focus on the absence of what you want and be a vibrational match to the presence of what you want. And so if you're doing it with your thought, in other words, if you're evaluating all of the things in the world that you might think about and making a list, don't think about those things, don't think about those things, you're thinking about those things that you don't want to think about. That thing that you don't want to think about, you're thinking about while you're not wanting to think about it. And while you're thinking about it, you're offering a vibration about it. So law of attraction is bringing more of it to you. Now you're thinking about it more, aren't you? So when you're thinking about that thing you don't want to think about, you are launching rockets about what you do want. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, rather than paying so much attention to what we are thinking about, we would make our top priority be, how am I feeling? How am I feeling? I want to feel good. Today, no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intent to look for things that when I focus upon them, I feel good. Because that means you're in alignment with who you are. So what does that mean? When you're in alignment with all of the expansion that is you, that is in the vortex, where all cooperative components to all things that you want have been gathered vibrationally, waiting in the wings, ready to explode into your experience in perfect timing. So if you will focus upon what you're doing with your grid, which means how am I feeling right here and now? If you will look for the easiest possible thing that you can find to feel good about and focus upon it and use that as your reason to establish your vibrational point of attraction, what you're going to begin to notice, you are already, is that your grid, who you are, where you stand, your manifestation. So what's the grid? The grid is your point of attraction. It's your perception of the world. It's your reality. It's your fleshed out, filled in reality. It's what you're seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching. It's the reality that you are observing through your physical senses. You're so good at being a vibrational being, you don't even know you are one. What you translate through your nose is a vibrational interpretation. Do you get that? What you see with your eyes is a vibrational interpretation. What you hear and taste and feel with your fingertips, vibrational interpretations. So that grid will fill in with things that you can hear and see and smell and taste and touch. The grid filling in. Once you have established the grid that matches the vortex, life really becomes sweet. If you've been listening to us for a while, you've been hearing us say that when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, that all things go more powerfully the way you want them. You've been hearing us say that one who's connected to the stream or to the flow, or one who is in alignment with who you really are, is more powerful than millions who are not. And what we're really talking about is you finding somehow, some way to line up more and more and more with that core grid that beams up through you, that grid of love and well-being and prosperity and vitality and energy. And it's when you feel frisky. It's when you feel alive. It's when you feel your passion. It's when you are full of who you are. It's when you are tuned in to the vibrational expanded most beingness of that which you are. So you got to ask, well, if I was all of that before I came, tell me again, why did I agree to come into this body and expose myself to this? You call it variety, Abraham. You call it contrast. I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. In other words, tell me again.